you have a lot of cards can reinforce each other, or they can oppose each other based on what they mean, and you have quite a bit of reinforcement happening and just one opposition, which is interesting because it gives it more focus. To tell you a little bit about this before I go into individual interpretations, this is a creativity and adventure card, a spread. This is showing that you work very, very hard in a very rule-based, goal-based system, and it's frustrating to you. It's something that you've done and you keep doing, but you want to be creative. And summer's coming, and I'm familiar with your Facebook, so this makes a lot of sense to you. This is sort of a summer spread. This is I've worked very hard, and now I want to be creative, and I want to go on a fucking adventure, which is hilarious because you've been reading, I'm not sure if you're reading Fear and Loathing or not, but it's absolutely sort of like a Hunter S. Thompson mentality. You want to go into the unknown and fling yourself out there and be creative and adventurous, and it is. You'll see as I go through the cards that everything reinforces each other, and that's the theme right here is you work so hard and you want to go be exuberantly creative. So let's go through this. We start with your question right here, the querent right here, which is 1 and 2. You have the Knight of Pentacles and you have the Wheel of Fortune. And starting with the Knight of Pentacles, this is symbolizes unwavering, being stubborn, being cautious and unadventurous, being thorough and obsessive, realistic, pessimistic. It's a hard work, grinding card. It's somebody who has a full-time job and works their ass off. It's someone who has calluses and sore feet. This is an extreme, I guess you could look at it like an excess card, but a functionally excessive card. When you see this, you think of, I think of My Pity, where you just bite down and you refuse to let go. It's very committed to labor. But when you see this, you have to examine if this helps or hurts what's happening in your life right now. Like, are you working too hard? Is it too perfectionistic? And as you look at this shows that, yeah, because this is a change card right here, the Wheel of Fortune. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is just showing that right now you are functioning and you're being very hardcore in your work, and it's kind of fucking with you. Like, it might be too much. The Wheel of Fortune sort of verifies that. This is destiny, accidental opportunity, fate, a turning point, movement. It's a change card. It's a personal vision card too. So it's showing that what you're doing right now is conflicting with this need to realize this vision that you have with like a really great force. And the Wheel of Fortune is just that. It's a turning wheel, and it's dynamic, and you can feel the movement, and you can feel the change, and that twist of fate, and that unexpected encounter, that like really exciting bit. It's a repetition of cycles, and it's a change of direction. So it's something that's familiar, but you can feel life speed up. This is an acceleration card, which is great because it shows it's more towards pursuing adventure as opposed to just like rote labor and blue collar things. It seems like more of a pursuing the unknown type of thing. So we go to the third card right here, which is again your it's the root cause. These three are pretty much like question, and then you go towards influencing factors. And this is the Eight of Cups right here. This is deeper meaning, moving on, and weariness. So this is pursuing truth and leaving the rat race and going on a personal journey of personal discovery. And it's signifying the end of a cycle, letting go, finishing what you're working on and abandoning it entirely, and feeling drained by demand, feeling burnt out, feeling like you need to re-examine your life and prioritize and see if what you're doing right now is really in line with what you want to do. I think of that I probably went Aerosmith, but that Dream On song. The past is gone, is what this is saying. You're done with it. You have a readiness to leave, and that's signified by a lack of energy. That's the first sign to your need to move on from where you're at and stop what you're doing and do something else, is that lack of energy in what you're doing and pursuing a new path. This is interesting because this right here, your root cause, is reinforced. Number 3 is reinforced by number 4, which is past and resolved factors, which is the Three of Wands. So these two work together. They reinforce each other. And the Three of Wands is an exploration card. It's foresight. It's being a leader. So this is change, it's pursuing something different, it's leaving security, and it's going on an adventure. It's a premonition card. It's having a vision and looking at the longer view, sort of getting a higher perspective. You've taken yourself out of the situation and you're surveying what's happening. You can gain a higher perspective by detaching from your immediate situation. So you take a step back and you can dream beyond the now and indulge in premonition and intuition, which is exactly what we said with this one. So this is very exciting. It could suggest that what you're wanting right now is something that you've already accomplished in your life, and that probably would make sense with the Wheel of Fortune, because this said cycle too. So this is something that, and it with summer coming up, and you being a creative person, that could signify what it means is you know that it's time. You ready? It's good to go right now. This is your 5th card right here, your attitudes, beliefs, conscious influences, and you have the 7 of Cups here, which is linked in with the 8 of Pentacles right here, which is your something to think about card. It's a hopes and fears card. So that was interesting that you have a second reinforcement directly right here. So these 2 are reinforced, and then these 2 are reinforced right here. And the 7 of Cups is wishful thinking, is having options, and dissipation. So this is fantasy and dreaming, and noticing unlimited possibility and alternative choice. It's a letting go card, which I think is really exciting, because this is, you can see the cohesion. Do you see it? Do you see the continuity that's happening here? It's acknowledging that your life is too controlled, too regulated, and you've got to let it go. You just got to let it go, and you can have a creative release by breaking through that really rigid structure of routine right now. And it's easy. This is a wish card, but it's easy to wish and not act on it, and indulge in idle fantasy. So this is you're signifying that you have to back up what you're feeling and dreaming of with actual action. And it's also a laziness card, which I love. It suggests that you need to be sloppy, be impractical, be lax. Don't be so rigid and obsessively control, and really just let shit slide. Just acknowledge that you don't have to be so perfectionistic and caught up in it. Just let it slide, you know? Let it go. It's an indulgent fantasy. So you're seeing it start to develop. And you'll start to see it more over here, because you have the moon right here, and that's a fantasy and dream card. So it's major. So you're really wanting to give in to these creative impulses and these drives that you have, in this really strong creative voice that's speaking to you right now, and sort of making it hard for you to keep working as you have been with like rigid structure. So now we have the final part of the wheel, and this is the number 6 card in your future approach, your influences, unresolved factors, and this is the 5 of Wands, which lines up with the 10 of Wands right here, which is an identity card. 7 and 8 are identity cards. That's just who you are. In my opinion, this is you. So this was you have another one, so you have these 2, and then these 2 right here. So the 5 of Wands is a disagreement card, competition and hassle. It's debate, challenge, fighting, annoyed by trivial demands. It's like little setbacks. It's nothing like drastic, but it's like little annoyances, like stubbing your toe, or your hair doesn't work right, or just stupid little annoyances that are petty. And it's almost like the environment fights you, and you can't have a smooth flow. It indicates that a bumpy ride is ahead, and you have to it may require extra patience to really deal with the minor irritations, and you want to check for competitive elements. With the significance of this spread, I would argue that you're becoming annoyed by your routine right now, and you can't let petty little annoyances distract you from actualizing your sense of creative adventure. This is acknowledging that it is going to be difficult, and you may not be able to get things as fast as you want, so it's good to be patient, and it's good to recognize the significance of trivial difficulty. So looking at it from the Knight of Pentacles, I would suggest that when you're a hard worker, that's what's going to piss you off, is little things that get in the way of productivity. So you just have to accept it and let it slide and let it go. Like the other cards were saying over here, just let it go. So now we move on to identity. This is a staff part. We've left the wheel over here, which is turning and letting you know that the wheels are in motion, where you really need to go and be a hippie instead of a blue-collar worker. You're feeling it. So this lines up right here. This right here. We left the wheel and go towards the person, which shows also that your identity is really invested in this pursuit. So we have the U card. This is the U card. This is the 10 of Wands, and it matched up right here with your future approach and unresolved factors. And this is overextension, burden, and struggle. This is just working your ass off card. This is a hustler card. This is a grind it out card. You might be doing too much. You might be being a yes man. You might not have any relaxation. You might feel taxed, like you're tied to a treadmill. It's uphill labor and resistance. You may be pushing yourself too hard, and you've got to cut back and balance everything out. With significance to this, it shows that you have to indulge in your creative endeavors and even though you may see it as lazy compared to the burden of your work, your regular straight person work, you might need to acknowledge that it's going to be tougher and more uphill, which makes sense with the petty annoyances. It's not something that you can just completely abandon all of your responsibilities and indulge in it outright. It's going to be a bit of a struggle to leave what you're doing right now because you're so committed to it, and it takes so much hard work. But you have to be sweet to yourself. You have to lighten up, and you have to let other people help you, and this is what everything else is saying too. You've got to let go. You're good at what you do. You just have to let it go and allow yourself to pursue relaxation and lax opportunities. And then we have the other part of the identity, the 8 card, which is your environment, like your attitude, your outer perspective. And this is the Moon, which is a dream card. This lines up, like I said, with your 7 of Cups, which was, where was that? Right here. So that's really interesting that you have a, like, kind of a 3 tied into this. And the Moon is fear, illusion, and imagination and bewilderment. This is a fantasy card. This is an indulging in unfamiliarity and allowing your life to take on the odd and unusual. It's an endless possibilities, inspiration and enchantment, like allow for the unusual in your life, which is good because it's right next to the identity, so it shows the duality of your nature, that you're very committed to working hard, but that you're very comfortable in the realm of the unknown. Normally the Moon is a fear card, but based with everything else, this isn't a fear card. This is an indulgence in fantasy and allowing yourself to be non-structured and just liberating yourself in that, and accepting that you have guidance in that you have very powerful intuition, and it seems like you have pre-establishment with this. So it's showing that the external perspective, maybe there's things in your life that are just really triggering for you and you're like, oh my god, release creative weird shit, you know what I mean? So that's something to consider when you're looking at this. And now we're getting towards the wrapping up. We're just before the conclusion. This is your hopes and fears card, your something to think about card, something that sort of, you know, to consider. It's like a final word, like the be careful, take this sort of card. And this is the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles opposes the 7 of Cups right here, which is a laziness card. This is the, and this could be your sort of anxiety towards relaxing or your commitment to your job. I'm not quite sure what, but this is a diligence, knowledge, and detail card. It shows that, like, the focusing on the details, on the little things, that labor is satisfying and productive, that, it signifies that you should probably tie up loose ends, which makes sense with the little annoyances, because somebody who works hard and is responsible and committed to their job can see anything diverting from the mission to be like total sabotage and laziness, and it's not. It just shows that tying up loose ends is going to be key in your ability to actualize this creative adventure that you're already, like, with or without your consent, about to undertake. So just something to consider, to be to resolve these little petty annoyances and these little details, and just be sure to wrap it up, because you don't want to abandon it. But that, you know, that should make sense looking at this entire thing. And then we come to the end, the final resolution card, and this is the Page of Wands, which is a creativity card. Creative, enthusiasm, confidence, and courage. This is an adventure card, which is perfect, right? I love when things sync up like this because it makes it so exciting for me. It's a new approach, art, self-expression, excitement, passion, optimism. It's a yes I can card. It's the removal of doubt. It's a courage card. Risk, adventure. It says adventure. I think that was really fantastic. It's allowing for the opportunity for passion. It's an opening for the adventure, and it's revealing itself to you, and you have to take it, but you'll see it. You'll see the opportunity open up. So this isn't an idle fantasy. This is something that's happening, you know, and this is almost like a preparing for it type thing. It's like a reverse winter, I guess, if that makes sense. So you're wrapping up the hardcore part, and you're gearing up, you know, you're gearing up for the creative, self-expressive adventure. It's high energy, it's risky, it's independence, it's shared enthusiasm, but mostly it's excitement and adventure. It's individuality. So that's really all I have for you on this. I put a little, I don't know if it's turkey or chicken, but I put that there for you. But this is, I think, a really, really cool spread, and it really speaks, I think, to you as a person, because this is how I think that you come off, is a very badass, hardcore person who works her ass off, but is an incredibly creative person too. Like, they don't kill each other, if that makes sense, and you have a serious commitment to both. Like, you're not just putting it on and like working so you can go home and read a bunch of books. You seem to really heavily enjoy the work because it's work, you know, and I know you and yours, so that makes a lot of sense to me. But it does show that there is no insecurity in this spread at all. It just shows that you know what's coming, and then you have to prepare for it. And what you're preparing for is something exciting. It's something that you probably have done before, and that you, moving from past to future, with the Three of Wands being taking an outer perspective and looking at things and surveying from outside of it to petty annoyances, you want to consider how to resolve your detail-oriented, like, little bullshit and for you to be able to satisfy yourself in your personal pursuits. And then going from conscious to unconscious is the exact same thing. You have to let go to be able to pursue this laxness that you're craving, this unstructured, creative adventure. And I love that it's an action card towards the end. It's the final resolution is adventure. So it's something that's, I don't usually see a lot of certainty in spreads when I do this, but this is a very, like, strong, cohesive, understandable spread that's letting you know that summer is coming, so get ready for it. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll do one for you whenever you want. Have a good day.